So what does self-care mean to you?
I think I would start by saying self-care is a need, it's not a want.
Mm-hmm.
I think you touched upon this in our episode where you were saying how self-care is not selfish. And that for me, I've had to really engrave that in my mindset and my approach to self-care, that look, if I'm taking time out for myself, it's necessary, it's needed. I can't look after you guys properly unless I'm looking after myself. The car's on empty, it ain't going anywhere.
Oh, do you remember?
The top of the
pups. Top of the pups. Top of the pups. Top of the pups.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly what came to my mind.
She's then that does the KJ podcast.
That's very true, actually.
She's the vocalist and then the whole music.
Yeah.
Made for my beautiful lovely daughter. So own it.
Yeah. Own it. Yeah. So I really do like creating music, so much so that I don't do it often, because if I'm in the zone of like songwriting, I forget all my other responsibilities. I'm like, you guys can wait, I'm gonna finish this.
KJ Podcast, time to listen to what's going on. KJ in the house, talking about it. KJ Podcast, time to listen to what's going on. KJ in the house, talking about it.
Hello, and welcome once again to my podcast. I am KJ, and my guest today is my wonderful, beautiful daughter, Xenia Adenwo. So I have Zen sitting with me today, and I suppose my first question to you is, since our last interview, well, you interviewed me, what's it like kind of sitting on that side of the chair? What's it like for
It's
you?
interesting. I've never been on a podcast before as a guest, so this is my first time. And I'm excited. It's interesting. I'm happy to be here.
Okay. I have some questions, and they are all written down, and I have a lot of my pencil to kind of keep me with the flow. Let's do a cheers. Cheers.
What are we cheersing to?
To mother and daughter and to generations.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Okay. So first of all, Zen, please tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, what makes you tick, what you find exciting. Tell us about you, girl.
So I guess that's such a full-on question, but I would say day to day, as you know, I'm a mother to 3 young, beautiful daughters, all super young in that stage of life. So most of my time is generally spent taking care of them, taking care of my home. I share the responsibilities with my husband, but a lot of it does fall on me a lot of the time. So that takes up a lot of my time. Clubs, school runs, dinner is just the never-ending list, and it all starts again the next day. So it's always a lot to handle, a lot to manage. So I think when someone asks me, who am I? That's straight away where I go. But I'm learning as time goes on, like, okay, you're not just mum, you're not just wife, you have so much more to you. And that's what I'm discovering as I'm going through my journey of this stage of life. So aside from that, I love to create things. Recently got back into my crochet, like reading.
Yes, you do. Inspired by you, one of my close friends.
Well, you taught me, which is the funny thing. But yeah, so reading, just thinking. I like to just spend time thinking. I like to hear other people's thoughts. What makes me tick?
What excites you?
What excites me? I find writing music exciting. I like to sit down, write a song and hear it all come together. I'm like, wow, like I made that song and I really like it. So I think that excites me. Seeing, maybe I shouldn't answer this with my kids, but seeing them excel, evolving into who they are, that is really, really exciting, really gives me a lot of joy.
Can I interrupt your flow a minute? Because you mentioned the talking of the music, and we have to own it. It is Zen that does the KJ podcast.
That's very true, actually.
She's the vocalist and then the whole music.
Made
for my beautiful lovely daughter. So own it.
Own it. Yeah. So I really do like creating music, so much so that I don't do it often, because if I'm in the zone of like songwriting, I forget all my other responsibilities. I'm like, you guys can wait, I'm gonna finish this. So I do it like when I have inspired.
Yeah.
So that
you
definitely
had the
excites
piano.
me.
And flute lessons.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
We
So
have a musician in the family.
yeah, that excites me.
Okay, all right. So I suppose with the focus of the KJ podcast, it's all about life and self-care. So I'm keen to know what does self-care mean to you? You lead a busy life.
Yeah.
You have 3 small young children and are about to have another one. She's good, her and her husband, I tell you. So what does self-care mean to you?
I think I would start by saying self-care is a need, it's not a want. I think you touched upon this in our episode where you were saying how self-care is not selfish. And that for me, I've had to really engrave that in my mindset and my approach to self-care, that look, if I'm taking time out for myself, it's necessary, it's needed. I can't look after you guys properly unless I'm looking after myself. If the car's on empty, it ain't going anywhere. So self-care to me really means, so yes, first and foremost, self-care is a need, it's not a want. And so knowing that if I know I need this, then I need to make time for it. And I've also seen when I haven't made time for it, I'm just putting it off, the patterns that I can fall into or how that reflects outwardly. So I would say self-care is essential. Yeah.
So I suppose if it's essential and the life that you lead, and also sort of making time for that creativity, I suppose my next question is, how do you take care of yourself? And how do you take care of yourself, most importantly, in stressful situations?
How do I take care of myself in stressful
be it stressful situations at work, at home, with having to juggle things that can become sort of not overbearing, but very much intense.
Yeah.
So
I would probably caveat that first by saying I'm not the best at it. I really can just put it off and keep myself last, because I'm thinking, if I don't do this, it's not getting done, and this is really important. But I've had to learn and say, you know what, I'm important too, and I need to get this done. So self-care to me in those stressful situations looks like me pausing everything else and taking time out for me. So I'll arrange with my husband, you look after the kids this time to this time, I'm going to go for a walk, I'm going to go to Starbucks and journal, I'm going to put on one of my workout videos.
Oh, Starbucks got a shout out.
Sorry, Costa, sorry. It's down the road from me though. If there was a Costa, maybe we would go
Starbucks
there.
and Costa.
No, yeah. But you get the point, something that is going to pour into me, rejuvenate me, and then also I would spend that time thinking, asking myself questions, or even just doing nothing. Sometimes you just need a good nap, and then you come back and you feel so refreshed. So I guess that's what it looks like for me in stressful situations, is just pausing, because nothing is that urgent when it comes to your health and your state of mind. It's all going to be there when you get back, and that's something I've had to realise. And actually as well, self-care sometimes is just asking for help, voicing, look, I need help in this area, I need help in that area, can you help me? And utilising your support network.
Okay. So what is the one small, I'm talking small thing that you do every day to make yourself feel good?
I think it would have to be journaling in that case. I've got notepads everywhere for everything. So journaling, taking time to just write down my thoughts. And I don't read it back, so I just write what's in my mind, what's on my heart, I write it down. And I find that whilst I'm writing, I'm processing everything that's going on throughout the day, throughout my life, whatever it might be, situation that happened, good or bad. And so when I'm writing it down, I feel like it's all out, and that just for me is so therapeutic and really does go a long way. Yeah.
And also, I think one of the things that I would recommend is when those stressful moments come, when you mentioned, sometimes you just need to take a pause.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you take a pause to just give yourself a gentle hug. Try it. Just give yourself, and it is, and if you can keep your feet on the floor, close your eyes and just give yourself a gentle hug. And within that gentle hug, either say whether it's your favourite prayer, lyrics from a favourite song or favourite poem, or just to just breathe and note your breath, it can just ground you and bring you back. So sometimes good just take a pause. Okay, so I really want to, I suppose, touch on your sort of personal growth and reflection and all of that. And and I'm smiling. Yes, I'm smiling because I'm super, super proud. Because as I think about your own professional and your personal development, I am just like in awe.
Oh please! I don't know what you're talking about, but thanks.
Flourish Mar, your own podcast. Yeah. Tell us about
stuff.
Flourish Mar.
Flourish Mar. It's a podcast. So as you mentioned, it's a podcast. It is really dedicated to becoming who you know you can be. So health-wise, spiritually wise, mental-wise. It's really just taking those time, just like as a flower, it needs that care, it needs that sunlight, that water. It's doing all those great things for yourself and, you know, hopefully flourishing and developing and becoming a better version of yourself. But I really also incorporate my faith into it, which is Christianity. And how can we do that with God? And how can we do that when we've got so many other things going on? You know, even if you're not a mother, there's always something that you're going to have on the plate. So that's what it's truly about. Yeah.
Okay, great. And so what sort of themes, topics can we expect to hear on Flourish Mar?
On Flourish Mar, we talk about all sorts. I'm not gonna lie. We love to have a chit chat. It's just me for now. I haven't actually had any guests, but I'd love to have you on.
Oh, it's lovely. I love, honestly.
I'm saying we. There's a big vision here, but when I just sit down and I chat. But I started it actually for a real accountability for myself. It's like I want to be able to track, because I have this vision of, you know, who I believe I am when becoming, and I want to be able to look back and be like, kind of document the journey. So that's essentially what I guess drove me to start the pod. But also when I think of my situation in life, in terms of what I deal with day to day, I'm not talking like anything negative or whatnot, but I can't pinpoint many other women that I'm like, oh, she's gone ahead and done that, or she's gone ahead and done that. It just seems so different to the people my age. And so I also wanted to sort of create a space for people who may have some similarities to me, you know, not all the same, that we could kind of all gather and speak about. And I've always had like a heart for, I guess, women, and, you know, even having 3 young daughters, I'm like, I want to be the person who I want them to also, I guess, be. And taking care of yourself, putting yourself first, believing in yourself, becoming, you know, taking yourself seriously with the potential, the talents, the skills, and everything that you have inside you. I felt like, you know what, I need to actually model this. And if in the future, if and when they have children, doesn't mean now that your life is just all about the kids. And I think I definitely got into that place where it's like, that's all I was thinking about. And I had to step back and be like, no, God has created me for other things and put other gifts and talents in me. And so as I'm journeying through that, I come on the pod and just speak about that. So it varies. It might be from health, it might be to a book review, it might be to what do I feel like God is actually speaking to me about in that time, coming from a faith perspective. So that's what it's about.
Yeah, and I know that your faith, like mine, it's really important to you, and it's kind of at the core
for sure,
of everything that you do. So I really do understand that. And when you speak about your own family and having children in that life, I have to sort of reflect on your own childhood and ask you, with the things that sort of we did together.
Yeah.
And I suppose my question is, what's something that we did that you will pass on to your own children, your own family, from your own childhood experience?
Yeah, I think we used to do that thing, didn't we? We used to dance a lot. Put on music, dance.
Oh, do you remember?
The top of the
pups. Top of the pups. Top of the pups.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly what came to my mind. So little things like that. I've got a little jingle with my youngest daughter that's like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yes. Anytime she does something that she's proud of, she instantly goes in that. So having just little jingles like that, that's kind of like an inside thing that you and your kids are in on. I've got little things like that with all of them, so I think that's really nice as well. So I say that, I think as well, baking, we did a lot of baking together as well. So, and we had a lot of like mother-daughter time. I haven't really started that much with my girls yet, but as they get older, hopefully having that quality time and making that a priority as well.
I think I think it's only our older listeners that will know.
That's so true.
I'm like thinking, what's talk the pots? But no, that's beautiful. It's really beautiful to hear. I'm going to sort of check. I suppose, what is something that, still talking about us, that you feel we do together now that reflects self-care?
I think we have our little coffee dates, don't we? Maybe I shouldn't shout out someone else. I won't shout out any other companies because you're not sponsoring. John Lewis. Yeah. So that is something that when I always feel like, fueled from. I feel like, go home feeling really good. And so I think something like that, even what we're doing now, having conversations, just putting in that time to catch up. Also as a family dinners. So yeah, things like that. I think anything quality time based is always really good.
I've worked out when your family, when everybody's here, grandchildren are here, there is quite a few of us at that table. And then also if Nanny joins us, I believe there is almost 14. There's nearly 14 of us there. I'd have to really work it out, which is why we and then the food is all spread out. Yeah, absolutely. Food is a thing of sharing. And still sticking with the whole self-care thing that we do. And thank you. I do enjoy our little catch-ups and our coffee where we won't say shh where we go, and having that self-care. And I'm really pleased that it fuels you, not just in terms of the coffee, the caffeine, but actually the time that we spend together is giving you that sort of boost. So if you could create a self-care day, like one that's realistic and achievable, what would that look like?
I think it would is it day or evening, or doesn't really matter?
A self-care day.
Oh, okay, from like start to finish. I should really plan that. That sounds great. I think it would definitely include some sort of, like I've been saying, note-taking, journaling, reflection time. So I'd mark out time that's undisturbed just to sit down, reflect. I might Google some questions, or I might come up with my own and go through them, take time to think about it, write down my answers and read them back to myself. I would probably plan like what goals do I want to get done in the next such and such a time. Something to do skincare based, so something maybe like a nice bath, a nice face mask, just to feel relaxed.
That spa sort of pampering.
Sort of pampering
time for yourself.
Day without anybody knocking on the bathroom door.
And you don't necessarily have to go to a spa to have that experience. You can sort of create the sort of spa days at home kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. So something like that. I would probably get a coffee at some point, I'm not going to lie. So leaving the house or whatnot, going to get a hot drink, enjoying it, undisturbed, reading. So probably sit in a cafe, read for however long, hours or an hour or whatever. I probably love to go shopping if I had the budget, go shopping, bit of retail therapy, light some candles, something that smells nice. So these, I don't know how to plan it, like hour by hour, but these are the things that I'd probably do,
Yeah, with yourself at the core.
Yeah.
Because it's all about you. So as we start to come to a close, I suppose I'm wondering, what are you excited for in the future? What is your sort of personal... And whilst, we obviously, no one knows what's going on in the future, but what we do hold for the future is hope.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
So my question is kind of reflection of what are you hoping for in your own sort of personal growth and development?
I'm hoping to, I don't want to say flourish because that's the name of my podcast.
Flourish,
but I'm hoping to flourish. I'm hoping to become more confident, more skilled, more healthy, and I'm excited to see how that will have its knock-on effects in my life. I'm hoping to, I guess, get more into my passions, as well as I kind of work on developing different skills and talents I have. So I'm excited to see how that will all come together. And I'm excited to make some music, maybe release it, you know. But yeah, that's what I'm excited about.
That would be beautiful. That would be lovely to hear your music. Yeah, you. That would be great. Okay, and now as we really do come to a close with our signature, my signature question, I should say. I'm having to read my own question. When did you first realise that self-care was important?
Yeah.
So it's a kind of a two-way question. When did you realise that self-care was important, and how did it change you?
I think I first realised probably after having my first daughter. My friend asked me like, "Oh, so like when do you have like Zen time?" And I was like, "What is that?" And she was like, "When are you gonna just do like when do you do something without your daughter?" And I was like, never. Never. Like she's always with me for the most part. It's not every day. But I was like, yeah, that's true. Like, and you know, need to make time for yourself. And I remember as well, even my dad asking me like, oh, so how are you taking care of yourself? Are you making time for yourself? And I was like, no, I'm not really doing that. So I think that was the turning point for me, that I have to obviously take care of myself. First was definitely after having my first daughter. And how did it change things for me? I would probably say just prioritizing myself, putting me at that top of that list, and making, I think you even said this, but making the time. I think that's the biggest probably struggle for me. And then also doing something that is gonna fuel me, because if I've got a minute, you know, I could just spend it just scrolling on social media. So although I've had that time, I've just spent it all, given it all to Instagram, given it all to YouTube. I haven't actually poured into myself. And so being intentional about, okay, I've got this time, let's be intentional with it. Like, what are you going to do with this time? It's precious. Take it seriously. And make it meaningful. So that's what changed for me. I'd say the intentionality of what I actually do with that time. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being
here. Thank you.
It's been a wonderful opportunity. I am super, super proud of just being to sit here with Zen. So everyone, you've been listening to Zena Adenwo. She is my daughter. She also has her own podcast, Flourish Smile.
Yep, check it out, guys.
You've been listening to the KJ podcast, so we're really encouraging you to subscribe, do you know what I mean? Sign up, follow, and I'm going to say, take great care of yourselves. And why do I say take great care and not to just take care? Because to take care is manageable. So to take care of oneself is manageable. To take great care is purposeful. See you next time. Bye.
You've been listening to the KJ podcast. We'd like to extend a huge thank you to our guest. Post-production editing by Chantal Mattis, KJ jingle by Zenia Adunwo, and voiceover by Benu Ambassador. Finally, as Kaz would say, take great care of yourself.